This hot dog slicing gadget really is hilarious. Just lay in your sausage and fold over the blades again to close it. As you push down, it slices through the sausage, and you get these itty-bitty bits of hot dog. Because the blade comes down at an angle, it doesn't cut them evenly. Some are better than others. You can see the issue when I line it up with this one. It cuts through in a bit of an arc, but it has got to be one of my favourite gadgets to use. It's so satisfying. And I'm using these bits for a pizza topping. This gadget is actually called a dog dicer. As well as using it for hot dogs, it says it's also great for slicing grapes and cooked carrots. But I'm going to try it with this banana. I have to kind of push it down in there a bit, but it's nice and soft, and yeah, it cuts through really well. That's pretty good. And if I try it with a line of grapes, you can see it does those well too. Have you ever seen one of these? This is actually for removing the kernels from corn on the cob. You just line it up with the centre, then push it through while twisting the tool. As it goes through, it cuts the kernels clean off the cob. Once you're halfway, you can turn it round and pull it through from the other side. And wow, that's worked really well. What a great gadget. It's removed all of those really well. This part's nice and clean, and these look beautiful and undamaged. Let's take a look at this smashy egg press. It's an orange handle with a hinged press plate that pushes down into this cup. The same sort of thing as a garlic press. To try it out, I'm peeling this egg, then dropping it inside, and I'm going to mash it into this bowl. Give it a squeeze, and out comes the egg. Oh, look at that. I'm doing another one. That is satisfying. Cut the strands off at the end, and you've got this amazing bowl full of shredded egg. I'm going to use it for making an egg mayonnaise sandwich filling. I'm also going to try out one of these potato rices. It's the same sort of principle, but we place a boiled potato inside, line up the plunger, and give it a squeeze. And we squeeze out this riced mashed potato. There's pretty good leverage, so it's not too difficult to squeeze, and it's a nice alternative way to serve potato. I'm adding a slice of butter, some herbs, and salt and pepper. If you're enjoying this video, please do consider subscribing and giving it a like. Now let's take a look at this cutting gadget. It's like a large pair of tongs with combs at the end. The idea is we hold something like a lemon in it, then use a knife to cut down in between the prongs, and it should give us lovely even slices. Looking at the bottom, you can see we've cut all the way through, so let's see what we've got. Well, yeah, that's actually worked really well. Perfectly even slices of lemon. Pretty cool, huh? I'll test it with this tomato. It keeps your fingers nicely away from the blade, and it does work well, but you do need to be careful not to blunten your knife. Next I'm going to look at this crinkle cut chip cutter. You just take a peeled potato and push it down through. Wow, look at that! The cuts are so neat you can even piece it back together. I'm cutting them the other way too to make these really cool crinkled cut chips. I'd say this gadget is easy to use, and it definitely works really well. You can even get larger ones like this, which you may find more comfortable to hold. And because the blade's longer, you can use it for larger potatoes. I did notice though the blade on this one is less crinkled, so it gives you less pronounced ridges. But they're really cool gadgets. I use mine a lot. Now check this out. Have you ever seen one of these before? It's got a holder at the bottom and a cutting blade at the top which pushes down through the holder, and it's actually designed for cutting a hard-boiled egg into segments. The idea is we place an egg into the holder, like this, and squeeze down the cutter. Oh, it cuts through really easily. Let's take a look. When we open up the egg, it's cut it into these 6 nice little segments. They're not all exactly the same size because of the angle the cutting blade goes through. But they are really neat, it works well. I also really like using this gadget. It's got a cup on one end with a sort of spring-loaded hammer on the back. We use it by putting it on top of an egg, pull back the hammer, and give it a bash. And it cuts a perfectly round hole in the top of the eggshell. This makes it easy to separate the egg white from the yolk. Next I'm going to try out this kiwi gadget. To use it, we cut a kiwi in half. Then we take it and push it down into the fruit, like this. Once you've reached the bottom, give it a turn. Then you should be able to remove the fruit from the skin. My first attempt didn't really work very well. I don't think I turned it enough. So I'll try again on the other half. Push it down through, and this time I'm turning it quite a lot. And yeah, it actually worked really well. It completely removed all the fruit. We get these neatly cut pieces. Now I want to show you a really cool watermelon gadget. I'm slicing this watermelon into segments, then I'm using this tool to safely cut in between the fruit and the skin. You need to sort of rotate it to match the angle of the skin as you cut through. But yeah, it's really easy, and when we remove the fruit... Wow, look at that, it's really cleaned it out well. That's impressive. What I like is it's really safe to use, and if you find there is any left behind, you can just remove it with a second pass. Now we're going to take a look at this gadget. This is another one of my favourites. It's got this crossed blade at the bottom, and a plunger inside which pushes down from the top. It's designed to cut small tomatoes or grapes into quarters. The first couple of tomatoes I tried weren't really very successful. They may have been slightly too big. But when I got into the knack of it, it does work really well. What a great little gadget. And for grapes too. Next I want to show you this really cool potato masher. It's like this conical spring design, and it comes with a built-on silicone scraper. To use it, you just place it over your boiled potato and push it down. It just squeezes it through. With one push, you get instant mashed potato. It's really easy to use, and it works really well. I also used it to make guacamole out of these avocados. They are a bit slippery, but it did mash them well. Give it a tap on the side to clean it off. Then I'm using the inbuilt silicone scraper to clean out the bowl. It's a really cool gadget, I really like it. What a cool design. Next I want to show you this thing. It's a series of levers and hinges which operate this plunger, then opens the drawer at the top. And it's actually designed for cracking open eggs. Place your egg in here, hold it over a bowl and give it a go. Wow, yeah, that worked really well. The plunger pushes the egg forward onto a couple of points, which break into the shell and pulls the egg apart. And if we look down into the bowl, there is no broken eggshell. I tried it with a few more eggs, and without fail, every time it worked really well. Have you ever seen a tin opener like this? It's a really funky design. It works using this big ratchet lever on top. To use it, we slide open the handle to open the mechanism, and it's got these little metal pliers on the side. We'll be using these to lift off the lid. And there's also this little hook on the other side, which I'll show you more of later. To use it, we line up the can with this arrow, then push the handles back together to grip the can firmly. Then use your other hand to ratchet the lever back and forth, and the can starts turning underneath. You can easily use this opener whether you're left or right-handed, and once you've gone all the way around, you can feel the resistance change. So remove the opener, and you can now use the small pliers to lift off the lid. Look at that, it's worked really well. And what's really cool is it leaves no sharp edges on the can, or on the lid. And this hook on the side is to help you opening cans with a ring pull if you struggle with your fingers. Just slide it underneath and hook it through, then roll back the opener, and it peels back the lid. What a cool gadget. Next I want to show you this thing. It's actually a garlic chopper. The plastic casing opens up, and you can see there's blades that spin inside. You can slide the whole assembly out of the case to make it easier to clean, and you can also see how it works. Turning these wheels spin the gears which turn these blades. There's a fixed comb at the bottom, and anything trapped in there will get cut into bits. To use it, slide it back into the casing, place a clove of garlic inside, and close the doors. Roll it back and forth over the worktop, and it only takes a few seconds to completely slice it up. That's really cool. To empty it out, turn it upside down and tap it a few times. Then open the doors. I'm going to try it again, but this time I'm going to use 3 cloves. Let's see how well it handles it. I gave it a good roll back and forward. Then I emptied it out. And it really has shredded it well. I'm impressed. Next I'm going to look at this, a cool little garlic press. First of all, the top opens up, and we have this cutting deck here, which we can also remove for cleaning. In the top there's a press for squeezing the garlic through the blades, and there's a removable plate for cleaning out any stuck garlic. The idea is it chops the garlic and pushes it down through into the drawer for easy collection. So let's try it out. I placed on a clove, then firmly pushed down on the top. and it appears to be stuck in the blades. But when I lift it up and close it again, most of it fell down into the drawer. So I removed the cleaning plate, and I did find there was quite a lot of garlic squished in here. It had actually made a cool little lattice. I tried it again with another couple of cloves, and it did seem to work pretty well. Remove the drawer and take a look,